Man presents
The Business Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. This is where we address the business topics that matter.
Bringing Cayman's Business Buzz.
Here's your host,
Anita Khan.
Good morning. Welcome to Radio Cayman's Business Buzz. We're a teeny bit late today, and we do apologize for that. Off to a little bit late start. Good morning to Silver Fox holding it down in the studio next door. Good morning to all our listeners or viewers. Welcome to the Business Buzz. Today we have two segments. First, we will hear from Radiance Dance Studio. And following the 8 o'clock news, CG Britcay weather and traffic by subway, we will return with our second segment and put the spotlight on the 2023 Minimum Wage Advisory Committee. But first, our guest in the studio this morning is Mrs. Jessica Eden. Jessica is the owner and the artistic director of Radiance Dance Studio. And alongside her, we have young Miss Iris Ebanks. She's a senior performer. I saw the word senior and I thought she was going to be an older person, but she's not. Good morning, ladies. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you both?
Doing good this morning.
We're fine.
So we have exciting stuff coming up.
Yes, we do. We have our fourth annual performance, which is taking place this weekend at the Harkwell Theatre, Friday and Saturday, June the 23rd and 24th at 7 o'clock. Harkwell Theatre. Our show this year is called Express Yourself.
Express yourself. And Silver Fox, we have a ticket to give away for the show, but not right now. Because first of all, Miss Jessica, can you just share a little bit about your journey of Radiance Dance Studio?
Okay, well, really,
I know you've talked about it several times, but
Have
just
talked
those
about-
who've listened, those folks who have not heard you before.
yes. So we're located in Countryside Shopping Village, which is in Savannah, and our whole mission and goal is to provide a environment where students who are interested and have a passion for dance can come and learn and improve and master the skills of dance, in a fun and energetic environment where they're comfortable, where they're challenged to push themselves. So that's what we're about, and it just that atmosphere that brings a family feel for the students, the dancers, to feel, okay, this is where I want to be. I enjoy this location. I'm going to push and do even more than I am capable of doing because I am good now, but I can get even better and I can continue to grow.
And you're a dancer yourself, of course,
I
Miss
am.
Jessica. Now, Miss Iris, how old are you, if you mind me asking?
I'm 14 years
14. And you go to
Clifton Hunter.
Clifton Hunt. Oh, so you've got, how do you get back to school this morning?
My mom, she's gonna drop me.
Okay. Now, how long have you been dancing with Radiance? Or dancing, period?
Oh, I've been dancing since the age of 5, so I've been dancing for approximately 10 years now.
Okay.
And yeah,
You enjoy dancing?
I love dancing. Dancing is a way where I can express myself, and it's also like something for me to like when I'm struggling or when I'm having problems. When I dance, it's like all those problems, they go away, and it's just a way for me to relax.
It's just you, your music, and your movement.
Yeah.
I love that. Now, you will be in the show Express Yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, Miss Jessica, how express yourself? What age group are we looking at for this artistic performance?
You'll see them from the age of 3. Well, it started at 3, so most of them have turned 4.
Okay.
And our oldest dancer is 17.
Okay.
So just about to go off to university. So yeah, you'll see quite a range from the little tiny ones who have mastered the skill of following instruction, following direction, and now going on stage with the bright lights and dancing for
Can you
their
imagine?
yeah.
They follow instructions at the dance school, but not at home. Definitely not at home. No, they're broken up into groups. You have tiny stars. Is that right?
Yes, we have tiny stars,
Okay.
shining stars. So tiny stars are our 3 to 5 year olds. Our shining stars are our 6 to 8 year olds. Rising stars are 9 to 11, and our stars of tomorrow are our 12 to 17 year old. Within that too, we also have two performer group, which are the students who get to be called on a regular basis if we're being asked within the community to perform. So those are our junior performers and our senior performer, which is what Iris is. She's a Stars of Tomorrow, and she's also a senior performer.
Stars of Tomorrow. I like that. Now, Jessica, this show coming up, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow it is.
Tomorrow. Just realize that.
Yes.
And it's tomorrow, Saturday, and Saturday. So both shows will start at what?
7 o'clock.
And this will be at
the Hartwell Theatre, and you can get tickets from the audiophile in Commander Bay, or you can call 926-1826.
Okay. Now, what can we expect from Express Yourself?
Iris?
Iris? Yes, Iris.
She's dancing.
So basically, this year's show is technically based on the movements, and we're supposed to use our own personalities and what we learned in class to show the audience or the community how we feel about each dance. So, for example, if we're doing a hip-hop dance, if it's upbeat, we feel more happy, we feel more everything. All those emotions that we have inside, we put it into the dance.
Okay, so did you come up with your own pieces, or Miss Jessica? Or?
So basically, it was a part-time part. So when Miss Jess, she partly does the dances, she chooses the music, but when she sometimes makes us choreograph too, so we can learn, but we could also have part of us into the dance.
All right. So how, without giving anything away, Iris, what sort of expressive dance you have in mind for the show?
Honestly, there's a lot. There's happy. There's a lot of feelings that's mixed into a dance.
Into one piece.
It's in multiple pieces.
Multiple pieces. Okay. So did you choreograph your own pieces, or you had help from Miss Jessica?
I had help from Miss Jessica.
Okay. So Miss Jessica, who were some of the other helpers, instructors?
Some of our other instructors, we have Ida Martin, we have Patrice Donalds, and we also have Liana Coggins, and we had a guest instructor from overseas as part of a workshop we did, Shawana McCarthy Brown, and myself, and our senior dancers were encouraged to help with choreography, because I strongly believe that they are filled with creativity, and it's a avenue for them to kind of venture into and show us what they're about, how they feel, how they can express themselves, so they could bring the dances to life.
And Iris, what do you like most about performing? I mean, expressing yourself, yes, but doing any sort of routine, what do you like most?
I mostly like how Miss Jess choreographs the dance. It's like every time she choreographs, she doesn't only choreograph it just because she has to, but she puts her own emotions into the dance too. And she also, through the dance, she shows how much she loves dancing and how much it makes her happy.
Yeah, I've seen her in action. I've seen her, and the entire group, whenever you put on a show, it's always wonderful. I'm always like, I need more. Another half an hour, please, at least. But Iris, how do you prepare mentally and physically for, let's say, for the upcoming show tomorrow?
Well, physically,
You'll be in school all day today. You'll be thinking about tomorrow?
Well,
A little distracted?
Yeah, but physically, I prepare at least 2 days before the show so that I don't have to stress myself the night before or the day of, the morning of. And mentally, I do mental exercises in my head. I think my choreographies and my dances in my head so that when I actually perform it, I don't forget it.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to all the performers, because I would not remember steps. I don't remember my name sometimes. No, I'm just kidding. No, how many members will be a part of these two performances, Jessica?
For this show, who will be able to perform, because of other commitment, some dancers won't be performing. But we will have about 83 kids on stage this year.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Wow, that's a lot. Jessica, we've got to take a quick break.
Sure.
We've got a ticket to give away. But first of all, we want to say thanks to our sponsor, Cayman Insurance Center and Total Health. Now, Jessica's got a question lined up, I think. So we're going to take that quick break. And when we come back, we're going to give you the question, and then you can call us with your correct answer.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Joseph Stephen Blackman. Reverend Blackman ministered to the people of West Bay between 1910 and 1927, and again from 1935 until 1948. Shortly after his arrival, he began a special ministry to the seamen of West Bay, in which he would commit the captain and crew of each chartering vessel to the protection of God. Seamen going to other destinations were also specially ministered to, and the church service was designed so that each Sunday, these absent seamen were remembered and prayed for. Reverend Blackman consistently worked with the young people of the community, always trying to instill Christian morals in their lives. He is especially remembered by older West Bay citizens for his ministry through Christian Endeavor, his prayer meeting, and the special prayer meetings during wartime. He was married to Anne Elizabeth Blackman. Reverend Blackman ministered to the West Bay community when life was difficult and transportation was mostly by foot. His remains are interred in the West Bay Cemetery among the people with whom he lived and worked.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way, positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Homeowners, protecting your family and property is crucial during the season, and you should always assess insurance needs long before a storm makes landfall. Most insurers won't issue new policies or increases when a storm is imminent. Cayman Insurance Center's team of professionals can help owners like you find the most comprehensive coverage and competitive rates. Call the insurance professionals at Cayman Insurance Center 949-4657 or email info@cic.com.ky. Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Call Cayman Insurance Center's insurance professionals today at 949-4657.
How life treating you? I don't know how you do it. Traffic, errands, and don't forget work and chores. There is no time. I need to get Sarah a dental check, and Grandpa needs a checkup too.
Oh, I'm no supermom at all. But if you need all services under one roof, look no further. Try Total Health. They offer such great quality care, and we're able to work with my entire family and our busy schedule. Guess what? They are open 6 days a week and welcome walk-ins too.
Total Health at Grand Pavilion on West Bay Road. From junior's x-rays to your daughter's dental care, their suite of services encompasses diabetology, ophthalmology, gynecology, ENT, physiotherapy, pharmacy, on-site laboratory, imaging, and the list goes on. Total Health is your one-stop convenient family healthcare solution. All the services of a hospital without the hassle.
Total Health in Grand Pavilion. Change the way you manage your family's health. Visit www.totalhealth.ky or call 333-2222.
Attention all Radio Cayman listeners. Do you own a Honda vehicle? There's currently an urgent safety recall regarding the faulty Takata airbags in Honda vehicles in the Cayman Islands. As affected vehicles get older, a combination of high temperatures and humidity can affect airbags with the fault, placing you and your family at potential risk. Car City is currently replacing any defective airbags completely free of charge. To check whether your vehicle is affected, go to carcity.ky/recalls. If your vehicle is not affected, you will require a letter from Car City stating so for your next vehicle licensing inspection. Without this, your vehicle will not pass inspection. Please contact the Car City service team. Call 949-5525 or go to carcity.ky/recalls. The safety of you and your family is important to Car City, so please take time to check if your vehicle is affected with this urgent Honda safety recall.
Business Buzz. Business Buzz with your host, Anita Khan.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz. In the studio we have from Radiance Dance Studio. We have the owner and the artistic director, Mrs. Jessica Eden. Alongside her we have a senior dancer. She's young. She's only 14, but she's a senior performer. So don't think she's an old person when we say senior. It's Miss Iris Ebanks, and Iris is just 14. And she's missing school right now. So Jessica, coming up, we have Express Yourself. That's tomorrow and Saturday at the Hartwell Theatre. Tickets are $30 for adults and $15 for children under 15, correct? Now, and you can be purchased from Audiophile in Commander Bay. Or can they call a number?
Yes, they could call a number 926-1826.
Okay. And you'll have them at the box office as well at the Hartwell
Yes, they
Theatre.
will.
Okay, so that's tomorrow night, folks, and tomorrow night and Saturday night. Okay, so Jessica, do you have a question for our listeners to win this ticket? I've got it in my hand. It's a ticket for Express Yourself.
Yes, if they can name one of our previous shows, they can win a ticket.
Okay, and a number you can call is 949-6990. I see Silver Fox looking up at the at the phone. Do we have a call, Silver Fox? Okay, not yet. All right, but in the meantime, so don't name one of the previous shows put on by Radiance Dance Studio. That's easy. There's always Christmas. There's I know there's Christmas stuff and other stuff. So make sure you call us 949-6990. No, Iris, let me ask you. Let me pick your brain here again. You started when you were just 5 years old. So you've really been into dancing for a while.
Yeah.
Now, when you finish high school, are you going to continue dancing, or do you think this is the end of your dancing career when you finish high school?
Well, I don't think it will be the end, but I would not choose dancing as a career because even though I've done dancing for a while now, I like to start and try new things. So when I finish high school, I'll do dancing as a hobby, as a side, or I also do it to teach. But for really and truly for a career, I want to really get into law or architectural work. That's two things I'm really interested in.
And then I tell you what, those are two high-powered career and stressful. So you'll have this is where your dancing will come in really, really handy during those years, right?
Yes,
when you can just how to calm yourself down, how to relax, how to get anyway. But for right now, it's Express Yourself. Come on, folks. Do we have a caller yet? No, we're running out of time. Just name one of the previous shows that Radiance Dance Studio has put on. You can check their Instagram page or Facebook page. Is just a hint, okay? Right, Jessica?
Yes,
you can find it there.
It'll be there.
It'll be there. Now, what would you tell someone who is interested in getting involved in dancing? You're Iris. What would you tell that person?
They can visit our website, www.radiance.ky. You'll find information about the classes, the age group, and you can upload a registration form, or you can send an email to say I'm interested. Can I come by to either watch a class to determine which class I would like my child in, or just, fill out a registration form and we'll get in contact with you.
And you have adult classes as well?
Our adult classes are really done by the Cayman Island National Dance Company.
That's right.
Yeah, so if you're an adult, that's where we would direct you to go for classes.
And those classes are in the same studio?
Yes.
You
in the
share
same-
that same
Yes.
studio. Okay.
Mhm.
In Savannah.
In Savannah, countryside.
Now, this is a business for you, Jessica, correct?
Yes.
Now, what is most challenging about this as a business for you? Unless it's not challenging at all. It's just fun all the way.
It has its ups and downs, but in the sense for me, because I'm an educator, I came out of teaching to do this full time because I've always done dance as a part time activity and as a hobby. So I decided let's go ahead and take it as to the next step. For me, the challenge is understanding the business world and just the operational aspect. That's all new for me, but all exciting stuff. And in the field of dance is just to get the general public to buy into and to realize that it's not dance in the sense that we go into a club. It's dance in the sense of an art form. It's dance in the sense that it's teaching other skills that, as Iris have pointed out, she, for a career, dance is not the direction she would want to go, but dance will be equipping her with skills that will help her to master those other areas and be successful in that field. And so for me, that's one of the challenge with it in the sense of, it is a good grooming area for our kids, a way to help them to focus the direction they would like to go in life and to give them those skills that would make them successful in whatever field they choose to go to.
Jessica, I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the best. But you know what? We haven't got a caller yet, right, Silver Fox? No. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to make it really easy. Just tell us the name of the show that's coming up tomorrow night and Saturday. All right, the number is 949-6990, 949-6990. Just name the show that's coming up tomorrow night and Saturday. Miss Jessica, we have a call? Okay, caller, good morning. Caller, good morning.
Good morning.
We made this really easy for you this morning.
Actually, I have the answer for the December show. It's Christmas in the Tropics. Sorry, I couldn't remember the number, so that's why I took
Christmas in the Tropics. Oh, correct?
That's what? Yes.
Okay, yes. Well, just as a bonus, you only get one ticket still. What's the name of this show coming up tomorrow?
Express Yourself.
Yeah, you've been listening. Well, thank you so much for calling in this morning and giving us the correct name. If you can please stay on the line and Paul will get your contact details. Can I have your first name?
It's Catherine.
Catherine?
Yes, ma'am.
Catherine, thank you so much. Thank you so much for listening.
And I want to just thank Miss Jessica because my granddaughter attends Radiant, so I just want to thank her.
Your granddaughter.
For everything that she do. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. No, Jessica, that's one happy grandmother.
I'm glad to hear that.
Okay.
It's a pleasure working with these kids, and they lighten up my day. They make every day an excellent day to be here.
Now, before we let you go, Jessica, we're coming up to that news time. Can you just recap the name of the show, what's going on, and just how many days and the cost of tickets and where we can get tickets?
Friday and Saturday, tomorrow, 7 p.m. at the Harkwell Theater. $30 for tickets for adults, $15 for children under 15. You can get your tickets at the audiophile in Commander Bay, or you can call or WhatsApp 926-1826, and they will also be at the box office on each night.
Okay. Iris, what would you like to leave with our listeners this morning before we let you go to school? Oh, you want to skip school today?
I wish, but I can't.
So you can go on the beach and relax and be ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, but yeah.
So are you in school tomorrow? Is it show
Friday. Yeah, I'm in school tomorrow. I finish school next week.
So you from school you go straight to the Harkwell for the show.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
Well, you're busy. But anyway, what would you like to leave with our listeners this morning?
Well, thank you everyone for listening, and If you're interested in dancing, well, please join Radiance. It's a very nice show. It's a very nice company, and you don't have to be a perfect dancer, or you don't have to be amazing at dancing. As long you enjoy it, then you could come.
And you have Miss Jessica. She's a wonderful director.
Yeah, she's a wonderful director, and she's very supportive, and she really helps us when we're in our challenging times, or if we don't know a dance, she really gets her way to teach us it.
Oh, Miss Jessica. Miss Jessica, what would you like to leave with our listeners?
Yeah, we hope to see you all tomorrow night, Friday and Saturday at the Hartwell Theatre and cheer on our young talent. They are going to be amazing. You will love the show.
Yeah, that's right. Well, good luck with the show tomorrow and Saturday, and we want to hear all about it.
Yes.
Okay, Miss Jessica? Good luck.
Yes.
Thanks to our sponsor this morning, Cayman Insurance Center and Total Health. Coming up, we have a time check, headlines, weather, traffic, and we'll be back with our second segment of the Buzz this morning.
Radio Cayman time check now, 8 a.m. This time check brought to you by our friends at Foster's.
Legendary.
June is Legendary Month, but this year Foster's is celebrating dairy like no other.
Join us as we commemorate the creamy, salute the smooth, and acclaim all things milky, velvety, whipped, and thick for both dairy and alternative dairy.
Purchase any 5 products in the dairy department until June 30th, 2023 for a chance to win one of 3 $250 Foster's cards.
For more information, visit us at fosters.ky.
Legendary Month at Foster's. Butter because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. The United Kingdom's Minister of State for Armed Forces and Veterans, James Heppy, visited Cayman this week, meeting with government officials, the governor, the police service, and the Coast Guard. The main purpose of the trip was to discuss the UK's annual plans for offering support to overseas territories in the event of a major storm.
Look, we know how challenging this season is for communities across the Caribbean. We know that, no one ever knows at the start of the season whether this is the one where the big hurricane comes, and therefore we understand the anxiety that governments across the Caribbean have to know that there's a UK Royal Navy asset in the region to support you should the worst happen.
Audio there courtesy of CIG-TV. This year, the destroyer, the HMS Dauntless, will be in the Caribbean, equipped with a helicopter, several launches, and a skilled crew ready to offer support should it be needed. Board appointments and coastal work projects. Cabinet publishes its June 13th meeting summary. The first of the 3 coastal work permits was for the construction of a private residential boat lift in West Bay. They then gave the green light for 2 private residential docks also nearby in the Block 11C area. Next up was the approval for several companies to make application to the Grand Court for restoration to the Cayman Islands Register of Companies. This was followed by a series of board appointments, including Twyla Escalante as deputy chair for the Refugee Protection Appeals Tribunal. Cabinet also accepted the resignation of Langston Sibley's as chair. More than 15 reappointments and appointments were approved for the National Council for Persons with Disabilities. And then Cabinet approved the temporary appointment of Suzette Stewart as Health Practice and Facilities Inspector. Finally, Cayman's leaders reviewed and noted the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution's 2022 Annual Report and Financial Statements. You can find the full Cabinet summary online at gov.ky. And jazz fans are being treated to a special performance as Cayman Arts Festival wraps up its Summer Music at the Library series. CAF's Marius Gaina.
Music at the Library, it's the last event for this summer of Cayman Arts Festival. We had such a busy first half of the year, and we finish on high note with a really interesting group, Agoutis 2. It's Cayman's one and only Tin Pan Alley New Orleans style jazz combo. I was told from experts, let's say, that listening to Agoutis 2 is like sitting on a front porch on a warm summer night, surrounded by old friends and savoring a jug of something truly special. Of course, it's not allowed to do this at the library. We cannot drink anything there, but we hope that we'll see as many as possible at 6 o'clock, the Georgetown Public Library. Tickets, they will be at the door, $20 for adults, $5 for students. All I can say is that is just come and celebrate with us this first half of the year with music and joy.
It's all taking place tonight. For more information, you can head to CaymanArtsFestival.com, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News. The head of America's Agency for International Development, USAID, has denounced the warring factions in Sudan for repeatedly breaking ceasefires. Samantha Power said millions of people were in need of help, but could not be reached because of the fighting. A court in Moscow has rejected an appeal by the Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich against the extension of his pre-trial detention. He was arrested at the end of March and charged with spying, which he vehemently denies. Russian-installed officials in Crimea say it could take several weeks to repair a key bridge linking the peninsula to other occupied parts of Ukraine. The John R. Bridge was damaged in a missile strike early on Thursday. Activists say Spain must take some blame for the apparent loss of dozens of lives after a boat carrying asylum seekers sank near the Canary Islands on Wednesday. The Moroccan authorities saved 24 people, but migration charities say Spain should have been quicker to help. Pakistan says it's identified more than 200 citizens who were on the migrant boat which sank off the coast of Greece last week with heavy loss of life. The full death toll from the disaster is still not known. Hundreds of passengers remain unaccounted for. Efforts to locate the missing tourist submersible near the wreck of the Titanic in the North Atlantic are entering a critical phase as the oxygen supply of the 5 men on board is running out. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com. Are you tired of waiting in long lines at the pharmacy just to fill a prescription?
If what, child, let me tell you.
Well, now you can save time and money with ValueMed's online prescription service. Visit ValueMed's new website, valrx.com, and click the Refill Subscriptions button. Fill in your information and choose your preferred pickup location. Or email your prescription refills for ValueMed Walkers Road at rx-wr@valrx.com, and for ValueMed in Boddentown, email rx-bt@valrx.com. Say goodbye to the hassle of waiting in lines and hello to the convenience of online prescriptions with ValueMed Pharmacy. Visit valrx.com to place your orders today.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Prevention is key. Is your heart at risk? During the month of June, Baptist Health International is offering special pricing for cardiac CT scan for calcium scoring for just 99 CI to patients at high risk for heart disease, the leading cause of deaths worldwide. You are a candidate if you are 40 to 65 years old and have any of the following risk factors: obesity, current or recent smoker, family history of heart disease, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, or diabetes. To request an appointment or for more information, call 749-3304 or visit baptisthealth.ky. Are you ready for an incredible opportunity? Switch to Digicel this June to win a round-trip flight for two. Yes, that's right. By switching to Digicel, buying a Prime bundle, or simply paying your bill, you could be jetting off to any of the breathtaking Cayman Airways destinations.
Imagine exploring stunning beaches, vibrant cultures, and making unforgettable memories.
Visit a Digicel store near you to make the switch today. Seize this amazing opportunity. Digicel, better together.
Did you know
that in an event of a hurricane, water designated for the purposes of drinking, cooking, and bathing must be disinfected before use. Water may be disinfected by boiling or through the use of chlorine bleach. To disinfect through boiling, simply leave the water on the fire 1 minute after it begins to boil. To disinfect with bleach, add 3 ounces of chlorine bleach to every 1,000 gallons of water. If you're not able to smell the bleach in the water after 30 minutes, then add half of the amount of bleach that was added during the initial application. Recheck the water after 15 minutes to ensure there is residual bleach smell. A residual bleach smell is an indicator that the water has been properly disinfected. For more hurricane food safety tips, visit the DEH website, www.gov.ky/DEH.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning, Kim. Let's take a look at your latest weather. Present temperature 85, but it feels like about 94 already. Winds are out of the east at 5 miles per hour. Relative humidity 81%. Last night's low was at 84. The barometric pressure is at 29.91 and holding. Isolated showers with moderate winds and seas are expected across the Cayman Islands over the next 24 hours in association with a ridge of high pressure over the Caribbean. And the National Hurricane Center is issuing advisories on Tropical Storm Brett, which at 4 a.m. was about 200 miles east of Barbados. Tropical Storm Brett is moving towards the west at about 15 miles per hour, with maximum sustained winds of 70 miles per hour. Advisories are also being issued for Tropical Depression 4. These systems pose no immediate threat to the Cayman Islands at this time. Our forecast for today, though, partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 30% chance of the afternoon showers. Temperatures will rise to the upper 80s with a heat index of 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds will be east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. Later tonight, partly cloudy skies, 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will fall to the upper 70s, and winds will be east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. We're at a low tide. High tide is coming up at 12:20 this afternoon. It's going to be low at 6:20 this evening. For tomorrow, high tide is at 1:13 a.m., low at 7:54 a.m., high at 1:24 p.m., and low at 7:20 p.m. Sunset this evening is at 7:05, and the outlook is for similar weather conditions through Friday evening, with an increase in showers expected thereafter as the tropical wave moves over the Western Caribbean. And that, my friends, is your latest weather brought to you by our good friends at CG Britcay.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. Don't lie on your resume, because if you say you've got trapeze experience, someone might shoot you out of a cannon and expect you to do a gymnast routine while flying through the air at 82 miles an hour. And just because you want to land on your feet doesn't mean you will. But if you're smart, you'll have CG medical insurance, so you get the best coverage for the price.
Get the best coverage for the price. CG Britcay. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong Series is brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
Achieving our goals is rewarding, but at times can feel frustrating, especially if and when we miss our target. As you approach your goals in life, set yourself up for success.
When setting your goals, look at the big picture. What is most important to you? When you are successful, how will your life be different? These questions can help you define what success means to you. Are you dreaming of owning your own business, getting a significant promotion, or running a marathon? These values will guide the goals you set for your future life. Being able to envision your values in action will make them feel real and near.
Change your thinking and change your life.
During these unprecedented times, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Cayman Strong Series. The Cayman Strong series is brought to you by Encourse Cayman. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
These days, feelings of loneliness, anxiety, stress, and depression can be overwhelming. Just know you are not alone. Encourse Cayman offers private mental health services for children, teens, adults, and groups. Visit encourse.ky to view a full list of wellness services and their qualified team. Encourse Cayman, health, wellness, and happiness.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
All right, morning, my friends. Let's take a quick look at the traffic situation. Of course, majority of the traffic coming out of the eastern districts, but still got some congestion along the Linford Pearson and Crew Road, similar on Bobby Thompson Way onto Huldah Avenue. That influx of traffic still got to bear with that for at least 15-20 minutes more. Getting to the Butterfield roundabout, traffic congestion in that area as well. Traffic coming off the Esley Tibbetts, similar on Godfrey Nixon Way, and heading along North Sound Road. So lots of traffic in that area. Most streets in Georgetown, moderate traffic. Edward Street, a bit of traffic in the northern direction heading towards 4th Street or continuing on Mary Street onto Seafarers Way. One cruise ship in port, so lots of pedestrians, visitors ashore, going to be walking around. Shannon Road got some light traffic, some pedestrian movement as well. And of course, Cayman Brack and Little Cayman light traffic. West Bay Road looking fair to find at the moment. Of course, the traffic still in that area of Linford Pearson and Crew Road and Bobby Thompson Way. Similar to South Sound and Walker's Road, South Church Street. Well, like I say, will dissipate in 15-20 minutes time from now. Safe driving, buckle up, and be cautious of pedestrians and more. Keep your dial set right where it's at. Your Radio Cayman, your traffic report brought to you by our good friends at Subway.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way. Positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Healthcare Pharmacy, caring about your health for the past 25 years. Radio Cayman's premier health show.
Alzheimer's and dementia, are they the same disorder?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Is heard on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor, where they care about your health. Transfer and refill your prescription online. Visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or call 947-8900. Healthcare Pharmacy, now with a second location in Governor's Square. Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health.
Business Buzz. Business Buzz with your host, Anita Khan.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz. Thank you so much for joining us. It's 19 and a half after 8 o'clock. Business Buzz comes your way until 9. This is our second segment, and we will be focusing on the feedback on the proposed new minimum wage for the Cayman Islands. A national minimum wage of $6 CI per hour gross was introduced in the Cayman Islands back in 2015, and according to my notes, when inflation was running at 2.8%. The service workers who make gratuities earn a minimum hourly rate of CI $4.50. Special calculations apply for live-in household domestics as well as for employees earning commission. Now, that is putting it into a nutshell. We have guests in the studio who will expound more on this. And our guests in the studio are from the 2023 Minimum Wage Advisory Committee. And I'll start with my guest right next to me, the gentleman. Good morning, sir. Can you introduce yourself to our listeners?
Good morning, Anita. My name is Ralston.
You might want to come a little bit closer to that mic. That will help.
My name is Ralston Henry. I'm the senior economist within the Economics and Statistics Office. The ESO is a part of the Minimum Wage Advisory Committee.
So are you on the committee?
I am a designate for Adolphus Laidlow, who is the chair. The director for the ESO.
Okay.
He sits on the committee, so I'm his designate.
Okay, so you're filling in this morning.
Yes.
Good morning. Our next guest is...
My name is Lemuel Hurlston, and I'm the chairman of the Minimum Wage Advisory Committee.
Good morning, Mr. Hurlston, and good morning to you, Mr. Henry. Mr. Hurlston, can you go a little bit closer to that mic?
Sure.
There you go. Now, it's good to have you both in the studio this morning. Very interesting topic, the 2023 Minimum Wage Advisory Committee putting this all together before Cabinet. And it's supposed to be before Cabinet by the end of June, correct?
No, we've got an extension now. We've got an extension to the end of September.
End of September. Okay, very good. Now, Mr. Hurlston, you were the original chair back in 2015.
Yes.
Can you give us some history when that national minimum wage was first introduced?
Sure. Well, that particular time, the government wanted to do a comprehensive assessment of the economic environment, and we had the benefit at that time of a consultant from the International Labour Organization, the ILO, and we did a lot of local research. Our Economic and Statistics Office led the way with developing local research, which was validated and confirmed by the representative of the ILO. And we determined that for the introduction of a minimum wage, it was better to err on the low side because it was an introductory minimum wage. There are advantages and disadvantages of setting minimum wages too low versus setting it too high. And we erred on the side of a low introductory minimum wage. And we also made recommendations about how it should be reviewed periodically going forward. The government accepted our report and our recommendations. The report was tabled in Parliament and made public. And so on this occasion, we're going to be building on top of what work has already been done. We're going to be updating our statistics. We're going to be updating our economic data. And we're going to be completing an analysis based on the current environment in which we're working.
Okay. Now, how do you feel since that came into effect, that wage came into effect? How do you feel it has worked so far?
So far, it has worked, I think, extremely well. There's a department called the Department of Labor and Pensions, and that is the agency that is responsible for ensuring compliance and enforcement of the legislation. There's a regulation and an order of the government that brings these matters into force. And that department has reported to us, giving us some information as to the sort of level of complaints, the sort of level of enforcement activity. And generally speaking, the public has accepted the $6 minimum wage and has implemented it across the board. We have one rate of minimum wage applying to all categories of employment. And I think we wisely chose that as an introductory matter. We now have the opportunity of looking at the possibility of varying the minimum wage now going forward and introducing minimum wages for different categories of employment. That decision has not yet been made, but our terms of reference gives us the ability to make that sort of recommendation.
Okay. Now, going back to 2015, there had to be some key factors that contributed to this decision.
I think the economy and the affordability are the key factors, as well as the expectation on the part of workers and employees. And we were concerned about trying to protect the lowest income workers in our society, because that's the function and objective of a minimum wage, really. It is to protect the vulnerable from being exploited. And so that minimum is set as a sort of a floor to ensure that no one is taken advantage of, really.
So, Mr. Henry, you've been quiet so far. Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
Pretty good. Now, what is the difference between minimum wage versus living wage?
I think, like Chair just alluded to, the real difference is that the minimum wage, I think a core part of it is that it's binding by law. So it's protected, it's generally accepted, and it really aims at protecting those that are most vulnerable. One of the key considerations that we look at is the poverty line and the vulnerability line, ensuring that those persons are able to live at a basic level. And so the minimum wage is a legally binding agreement, and the part of why this committee, how this committee is set up, is that it considers both the consumers as well as the employers. The difference with a living wage, however, is that it only considers the consumers, and it focuses on giving individuals income that allows them a particular standard of living. Something that usually comes out in a living wage discussion is being able to live comfortable, being able to live with dignity, and things like that. So usually, or in all cases, the living wage is not binding by law. And what happens is that employers are asked to sign up and to put it on their brand, etc. But for a minimum wage, that's binding by law, and it considers both sides of the spectrum. Because a delicate balance in what we're looking at is that you have, while you balance being able to pay consumers or pay individuals a wage that allows them to live a particular standard, you must also balance it against the employer who has to pay that wage. And so that is the core difference in that the minimum wage, because it's now binding, it must consider both sides of the coin.
Okay, and I guess with a minimum wage, people are not able to save. Is that something that is a difference with the living wage? No?
Yes, because a large part of the the minimum wage consideration is the core basket that allows you to live. I don't want to say that you're not allowed to save, because built into that would be core elements such as pensions, etc., that allows persons some amount of life savings. Needless to say, however, we wouldn't be focused on allowing you to build wealth off a minimum wage. So there's a different consideration. Within the living wage, there would be more allocation for that. For example, there's a buffer, usually a buffer built into a living wage that says if something happens tomorrow, would you be able to kind of get over that? That consideration might not be a key part of the minimum wage. And like I said, within that discussion, there's a a consideration for what you're able to afford, and what we're able to give you, but what the employers can afford. And so we have to build that balance within the whole discussion.
Okay. We've got to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue the discussion. We have in the studio Mr. Lemuel Hurlston. He's the chair of the 2023 Minimum Wage Advisory Committee, and we have alongside him Mr. Ralston Henry. He's a senior economist with the Economic and Statistic Office. Thanks to our sponsor this morning, Cayman Insurance Center and Total Health.
How life treating you? I don't know how you do it. Traffic, errands, and don't forget work and chores. There is no time. I need to get Sarah a dental check, and Grandpa needs a checkup too.
Oh, I'm no supermom at all. But if you need all services under one roof, look no further. Try Total Health. They offer such great quality care, and we're able to work with my entire family and our busy schedule. Guess what? They are open 6 days a week and welcome walk-ins too.
Total Health at Grand Pavilion on West Bay Road. From junior's x-rays to your daughter's dental care, their suite of services encompasses diabetology, ophthalmology, gynecology, ENT, physiotherapy, pharmacy, on-site laboratory, imaging, and the list goes on. Total Health is your one-stop convenient family healthcare solution. All the services of a hospital without the hassle.
Total Health in Grand Pavilion. Change the way you manage your family's health. Visit www.totalhealth.ky or call 333-2222.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecast, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
Business Buzz. Business Buzz with your host, Anita Khan.
Good morning again. Welcome back to the Business Buzz. If you're just joining us, thank you so much for doing so. We have in the studio Mr. Lemuel Hurlston, chair of the 2023 Minimum Wage Advisory Committee. And we also have Mr. Ralston Henry. He's a senior economist in the Economic and Statistics Office. And he's sort of sitting in this morning for Mr. Laidlow.
Yes, I am.
Yes, sir. Now, can you share some information on the newly formed Minimum Wage Advisory Committee, Mr. Hurlston, and the main objectives?
Okay. The committee consists of 18 persons, so it's quite a large committee. 6 persons representing employers, 6 persons representing employees, and 6 independent persons, including civil society. We have young persons on the committee. We have some, like myself, not so young anymore. But we have a good cross-section of representation representing all stakeholders. And it's important that those stakeholders be at the table because the decisions that are being made affect them. And in many countries, these are decisions that are taken by negotiations between labor unions and employer unions. In Cayman, we don't have that sort of a regime, so we have to make up something that is equivalent to a union, and so we meet weekly, and our objective is to update the former report and to produce a new report recommending a new revised and updated minimum wage regime. That means not only increasing perhaps the rate of the minimum wage, but increasing the capacity to enforce it and the capacity to enlarge the scope of it.
And speaking of enforcement, the current minimum wage right now, is it policed, put it that way?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
As I was saying earlier, the Department of Labor and Pensions has an enforcement capability, albeit a small one, a limited one, but they do encourage persons who feel that they have a case of breaches to the regulation, employers who may be not paying the minimum wage to their workers. Those workers have the right to complain and to file a formal complaint. That matter is then investigated and appropriate action taken accordingly. And there are penalties provided for in the regulations for non-compliance.
Okay. Now, what's the mandate for of the committee, Mr. Holster?
The mandate is to review, advise, and recommend the future pathway for adjusting minimum wage to take into account the current economic conditions that we're living in.
Okay, so we said we have 18 people representing, making up the committee. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you were the original chair.
Yes.
And you're still looking young. You still look the same way.
Oh, thank you.
And you're back in the chair again.
You just have to tell me which bank account I go to collect that compliment.
We'll send you to CNB.
Yes, okay.
No, free plug for CNB this morning. No, Mr. Holston, back then, do you still have, besides yourself, do you still have original members on this committee?
By and large, the answer to that is no.
Okay.
It's a new committee appointed by the Ministry of Border Control and Labor, who made a recommendation to Cabinet, and Cabinet is the body that makes the appointments.
So they're basically all
it's a new committee, with the exception of myself as chair.
Okay. Now, when did you have your first meeting to discuss?
We started meeting at the end of January, and I believe we've now had 21 meetings in total, during which time we've had several presentations done to us, industry-type presentations, economic-style presentations, data assessment presentations, and we are now this week, we're now launching our public consultation phase, and we're engaging, that's why we're here, we're engaging in a round of public engagement so that the public can now have an opportunity to ask questions, to get answers, to hear others' opinions, and this is an opinion gathering moment for the work, at the end of which we will take into account all the advice that's been given. We'll listen to all the complaints, and we'll try to make that delicate balance between the rights of the worker versus the rights of the employer to run a fair business.
So, Mr. Henry, I'm pretty sure that the ESO did some presentations to the committee.
Yes, we have. A lot of the background work that goes into it is done by the ESO.
Okay.
Just based on the statistics that we have to present the demographics of the country, the different sectors. We've also begun to look at what are the industries that would have the most minimum wage workers and things like that. Data that exists within our domain, we've presented to the committee to try and lay the groundwork or foundation as to what the lay of the land is, so that we can move forward. So we've done three presentations to the committee to date. We've gotten feedback, and we continue to update that data and to revise it.
Anything that stand out for you that you want to share with our listeners today?
Not really. Like I said, those presentations are really discussions. A lot of what we have is data, and we try to do that analysis, and the committee asks questions, and we kind of revise and revamp so that we can get to where we want to be. So a lot of that core information is really surrounded looking at that vulnerability line that we discussed earlier. looking at things like the main industries and things like that. And so we're trying to coin out and flesh out those numbers with deliberations from the committee and just having those discussions. So it's just the groundwork of the numbers.
Okay. Now we hear people just, everybody talking about, times are so hard, money is never enough to pay the bills, and you know how it is. Now, do we have anything as a national poverty line?
Officially, no, we don't. So what we've been trying to do is to look at international standards, and like I said, going back to the committee to see, like the chairman alluded to earlier, some of what we have are not perfect, but we're trying to get to a point where we're at least close to what exists officially. So officially, we don't have a poverty line. So what we've been trying to look at is a vulnerability line that is essentially based on expenditure that would essentially coming out of the last minimum wage report as to how that was dealt with and looking at how we can improve that, which is essentially a mandate.
Okay. Now we've heard about the presentations. How about the public? Now, why are we consulting the public in this case?
Well, I think the case for that is clear. All of this affects the public in general, and it affects every single case.
No, we just want to hear it.
Yes.
This is not our exercise. I think the objective of it is to benefit the vulnerable and to benefit everyone within these Cayman Islands. And so we want that feedback. We want that information. We as a committee cannot think of everything. And we do not purport to do so. So we want to get that engagement. We want persons to understand what we're trying to do, and we want to get their views on what we need to be doing and what we need to be looking at. Because there are varying views out there. Like I said, the essence of this is to try to find that delicate balance between employers, employees, and everybody involved, so we can try to meet everybody's, or try to best align what we come out with based on the needs of all those individuals. So it's very important that the public come out, engage, give your opinion so that we can understand essentially the lay of the land.
How many more meetings between now and September you'll be having?
Quite a few. We're going to continue to meet on a weekly basis. And as we get nearer to September, I suspect we may end up having even more frequent meetings rather than weekly in order to complete the work. And we are determined to get our report submitted as planned on schedule.
Okay. So besides the public meetings,
in addition to public meetings, well, we're going to be doing a series of district meetings for the public to come out and physically chat with us. But we're doing several surveys, online surveys. The Economic and Statistics Office has done some surveys for us. For example, they recently completed an employers and household survey. And one of the questions that was interesting in that survey that Ralston may want to speak to is the question of, if the minimum wage were to be increased by $1 an hour, what would be the impact on your business? If it were to be increased by $2 an hour, what would be the result and the impact? And if it were to be increased by $3 an hour, what would be the result of that on your particular business? And it's interesting that the data that's coming back in on that is going to help us to inform ourselves as to what businesses are comfortable in considering and the impact that will have on their business. And in addition to that survey, we have a more general survey on SurveyMonkey. And I'm leaving you with a card which has all of the SurveyMonkey information. In fact, there's a QR code that can be scanned.
Okay.
There's
a Facebook page where you can look up on Facebook under Minimum Wage Cayman, and you'll find a link there to our Facebook page. And we also have Instagram, and it's It is
At
minimum wage KY.
Correct.
Yeah, for the Instagram. Okay. So we're trying to adapt to modern technology and to use that technology to our full advantage. We'd like the public to engage. These surveys do not take a long time to complete. They're designed to be completed by busy people, and you choose your category, so you can tell us who you are. You're a business owner, or you're an employer or an employee. You can determine from your own survey answer what category you're answering the questions under.
Okay. Now, will the committee be looking at whether the country should establish various minimum wages? Mr. Perlson, you did allude to some of that for specific industries, sectors, or age groups.
Yes, we're looking at that. We're not quite sure whether the Cayman Islands is ready for that. But if the public feedback tells us that the public is very much in favor of that, we are open to looking at that possibility. In the United Kingdom, for example, they set their minimum wage based on ages as well as skill levels. But that's in the UK. In Bermuda, we were talking offline before the program started, and we were saying that in Bermuda, they've adopted a sort of a hybrid, which is a combination of a minimum wage and a living wage, and they have merged all of that, including gratuities, into their system. We haven't reached that level of sophistication just yet, but if the public tells us that that's the way we should be going, we can certainly make recommendations to get us there.
Okay, so if you're listening this morning, please let the committee know how you're feeling and what your thoughts are. Now, that minimum wage for them for Bermuda is now $16.40.
Yes.
That's, I'm not sure what their standard of living looks like, but that's pretty high for
it is high, and Bermuda does have a high standard of living, but we also have to remember that Bermuda has very active and strong labor unions that protect the rights of workers vigorously. So we don't have strong labor unions in Cayman, so our histories are slightly different, and our economies might be similar, but our histories are quite different. So we have to confine ourselves to what is best for the Cayman Islands, and we're going to focus on that.
Okay. Mr. Hudson, we've got to take a break. We've got to make some money too. Thanks to our sponsors, Cayman Insurance Center and Total Health.
Homeowners, protecting your family and property is crucial during the season, and you should always assess insurance needs long before a storm makes landfall. Most insurers won't issue new policies or increases when a storm is imminent. Cayman Insurance Center's team of professionals can help owners like you find the most comprehensive coverage and competitive rates. Call the insurance professionals at Cayman Insurance Center 949-4657 or email info@cic.com.ky. Don't take chances with your family's future or your valuable assets. Call Cayman Insurance Center's insurance professionals today at 949-4657.
Attention all Radio Cayman listeners. Do you own a Honda vehicle? There's currently an urgent safety recall regarding the faulty Takata airbags in Honda vehicles in the Cayman Islands. As affected vehicles get older, a combination of high temperatures and humidity can affect airbags with the fault, placing you and your family at potential risk. Car City is currently replacing any defective airbags completely free of charge. To check whether your vehicle is affected, go to carcity.ky/recalls. If your vehicle is not affected, you will require a letter from Car City stating so for your next vehicle licensing inspection. Without this, your vehicle will not pass inspection. Please contact the Car City service team. Call 949-5525 or go to carcity.ky/recalls. The safety of you and your family is important to Car City, so please take time to check if your vehicle is affected with this urgent Honda safety recall.
This is an important public service announcement. In accordance with the Standards in Public Life Act, this year's annual declarations to the Register of Interests must be submitted between the 1st of July and the 30th of July by persons in public life.
This includes members of Parliament, various categories of public officials, members of governing bodies of statutory authorities, government companies, and commissions created under the Constitution. The Register of Interest portal for the electronic filing of declarations will be accepting submissions from the 1st of July.
For more information or to determine if you are required under the Standards in Public Life Act to file a declaration, visit www.standardsinpubliclifecommission.ky/Register of Interest.
Business Buzz. Business Buzz with your host, Anita Khan.
The time is speeding up to 9 o'clock. Where did the morning go? Now we have in the studio Mr. Lemuel Hurston. He's the chair of the 2023 Minimum Wage Advisory Committee. And also in studio is senior economist and from the Economics and Statistics Office, Mr. Ralston Henry. Now, the committee will be looking at whether the country should be establishing minimum wage. Now, who are some of the stakeholders that will be part of this fact-finding initiative?
I think all businesses and all economic activity is going to be affected by this because there are five key economic groups of persons that are earning what we call the bottom of the income groups. And those are the 5 economic groups that we are focusing on. And they will be the ones that will have the greatest impact. And so we're looking at the data that relates to those 5 categories of persons.
Can you give us?
I don't have the list
You have the list,
I don't
okay.
have the list
Okay.
in front of me, but we have
But
it
most
on
likely
record.
in tourism industry, service industry.
Service industry, certainly. Domestic workers by a large shot. And so it's really a broad economic impact that this minimum wage is going to have. We have also appointed a subcommittee of our main committee, and it's called the Subcommittee for Research and Methodology. It consists of 5 members of the committee that form themselves into a subcommittee, and they are the ones that are leading the charge for the research, all the surveys, all of the data collection, scheduling of public appearances. Our appearance today was scheduled by them.
Okay.
And they are doing a phenomenal job in representing the committee as they go about collecting material for us.
Now we know that increasing the minimum wage will affect some jobs for unskilled workers. How that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin, what can be some of the implications for business owners pertaining to a new minimum wage?
Right. Well, what I was telling you earlier is that I would like Ralston to have a word about the survey that was just recently done, where we surveyed employers and households, and some of the questions that we asked the employers was the exact question you're just asking about what would be the impact on your business if we were to increase the minimum wage by $1, $2, $3 or more dollars per hour.
Yeah, like Chair was alluding to earlier, I think the core industries that we saw coming out were typically construction industry, hotels and restaurants, like you mentioned earlier, wholesale and retails, which includes some of the smaller shops. There is security guards and auxiliary service workers. And there's living domestics, like Chair mentioned. So the survey that we did or sent to businesses kind of target industries that had those type of employees. And what we saw coming out at the lower levels, for example, $1, $2, persons were saying that essentially they would be okay. But a lot of the indication coming out was that they would pass on a lot of whatever cost was put into them, particularly within the retail and wholesale industry. So what we saw, and then as we moved up the ladder, $3, $4, $5, a lot of persons were saying, well, this will now affect us. We might have to change staff hours. We might have to cut some staffs and things like that. So the dynamics is going to be different. And like we said, because of the industry dynamics, that's also going to be different. So while a retail, a supermarket, a little shop might be able to pass on that cost through the products that they sell, somebody like a household employer don't have anywhere to pass that cost to. They have to absorb it. And so their strategy or what they're saying they would do is different.
Probably cut hours and
so they might have to reduce the hours that persons work, which is the standard answer as you go up the scale. So the impact, like I said earlier, is going to be different for different persons. And so that balancing act, like we said earlier, while we want to protect the most vulnerable and to give them a better income, there is the flip side of it, that if you push that income level too high, that the persons might be forced to reduce persons' working hours, to even cut jobs, and that will even more negatively affect the persons that we're
go to automation.
trying to help.
Yes.
So we could end up derailing what we're trying to accomplish. And so that balance that we're speaking to is quite delicate, which is why we want the engagement to hear from employers, what can you afford to pay? And we want the engagement to hear from persons, what are you getting and how does it look? How is it affecting you? What do you think you should be getting or could be living off?
But do you believe there are some businesses that can afford to pay it without increasing the price of their goods and services?
Oh, most definitely, and that is something that comes out. There are industries that are that will probably never be impacted by the minimum wage because very few, if any, of their staffs are actually paid the minimum wage. So, for example, in financial service, we have very few staff that are paid minimum wage within the financial services industries. Within
that's a good service to be in. You know, that's the industry to be in.
So it's going to be different depending on the industry you look at, and there are certain business that it won't be affected. That won't be affected in any major way.
Okay. Anything to add to that, Mr. Hilson?
Yeah, and you know what we're talking about really is passing cost on where that has to be done, and of course when that happens, that contributes substantially to inflation, and we're already in a very high inflationary environment, notwithstanding all of that. So we have to be careful that we don't have unintended consequences without some forethought. What we're trying to do is to predict the outcome before it happens and try to minimize the negative impact that it could have on the most vulnerable in our society. So it's a real challenge.
And that's why it's important to have dialogue
yes.
from everybody, from all the stakeholders,
That's correct.
Business owners, employers,
yes.
employees.
So we must encourage the public to engage with us. We've got the Facebook link, we've got Instagram, we've got an email address. We're going out and consulting with public meetings. We're doing focus groups. We're doing everything that we know how to ensure that no one is not consulted. So we're providing an opportunity for everyone to be engaged, and we welcome that engagement.
And you think you'll have the report ready for cabinet?
We will. There's no question about that. That will be
have
done.
to be ready.
Has to be done. Yes.
Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure having you both on the show this morning, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes, and that everyone will be happy. You know, they'll be.
Thank you very much for having us.
Somewhere. Anything you'd like to leave with our listeners this morning? We'll start with you, Mr. Henry.
Just to remember that this affects you. We're trying to get your views so that we can make the best decision and the most informed decision. And this is why we're here today, just to get that public engagement, to get persons to relay their information so that we consider everything at the end of the day. So please, log into social media. If you're into social media, turn up to our community meetings when we have them, if you just want to come out, and reach out to us via email, send in your comments, and we'll try to fit those in as best we can. But please reach out.
Okay.
And our schedule of meetings will be on our Facebook page, so that if persons want to see our schedule, just go onto that link and you'll see where we'll be appearing next.
Okay, well, thank you. You do an amazing job. And Mr. Holstead, good to have you back in the chair again.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're reliving this all over again. I think you enjoy this, you know.
Oh, yes, I am.
really
actually,
enjoy this.
Actually, yes.
Well, thank you both. Anything we missed this morning, you think?
No, I think you've done a good job. You've covered the territory very well. And
we had a WhatsApp message about considering a yearly minimum salary option.
Yes, and I think we will be making recommendations regarding how the review can take place going forward, and that will include possible biannual reviews of all of the data and the updates going forward.
Okay. Well, I wish the committee well, and let's hope we can have we can come to a place where everybody's happy.
Yes,
that would never happen,
realistic,
yes,
something realistic,
but,
yes.
where everyone can live, comfortably, and move forward. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you to our listeners. You're very welcome. Thank you to our listeners, our YouTube viewers. Of course, Silver Fox holding it down this morning. Susan Watson is at home. She's our producer of The Buzz. Thank you, Susan. We're hoping you're having a nice R&R. Thanks to our sponsors. Without you, we couldn't do this. Cayman Insurance Center and Total Health. Until Tuesday, what date is that? June 27th. We'll see you back on the Business Buzz right here. God's willing. In the meantime, please stay safe.
The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, celebrating 45 years in the Cayman Islands, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services.
And Total Health in Grand Pavilion. Change the way you manage your family's health. Visit www.totalhealth.ky or call 333